Hello, my name is Elizabeth Creamer. I'm Professor Emeritus from Virginia Polytechnic Institute and State University in the United States. I'm coming to you today with the aim of offering an overview of an article I had accepted for the first issue of the Caribbean Journal of Mixed Methods Research. The title of the article is Why Mixing? Why Now? It was just published this fall. I have several purposes in this article. The first is to build on what Fetters and Freshwater called the integration challenge in a 2015 editorial they wrote for the Journal of Mixed Methods Research. I secondly want to consider why there is now increasing and growing recognition of integration as the principal characteristics of mixed methods research. Third, I want to identify several analytical strategies that will promote integration rather than mixing in ways that contribute to analytical insight. The article I refer to on this slide is a methodological one that raises one of the challenges in complex mixed methods research, referred to earlier as the integration challenge. The quotes from these authors of this methodological account talk about the struggle they had in keeping the qualitative and quantitative data apart during analysis. The authors describe themselves as being well acquainted with the mixed method literature. It was their understanding that it's important, if not mandatory, to keep the findings emerging from the different qualitative and quantitative strands separate, and reserving integration is something that occurs in the discussion section. In a book that was instrumental to the development of what is now referred to as a dialectical or integrated approach to mixed method, Jennifer Green made a distinction about mixed methods designs that is still useful today. She distinguished between studies with, quote, a component design and those that are integrated. The main distinction between the two is if the methods are implemented independently. At that point in time, no one was talking about a hybrid design. There is a time and a place for both a component and an integrated design. The component design is the most common one. It's associated with the simple or the basic mixed methods designs, which are often either sequential or concurrent and two-phase. These are not complex design. The slide lists contextual factors that might influence why a component design is the more efficient of the two designs. Although this is not something that Jennifer Green imagined in 2007, there really is something between a component and an integrated design. This can be referred to as a hybrid design. I have laid out an example here from Zhang et al. This type of figure is referred to as a procedural diagram. If you look closely at the top of the figure, it begins with the separate analysis concurrently of the qualitative data and the survey data. Those were analyzed initially independently at first. So there you have a design that's beginning with a component design. Following that, items from the questionnaire or survey were selected and grouped in factors to represent the themes that emerged from the qualitative analysis. So this figure is a good one because it's showing both a qual stream, a quant stream, and then in the middle you have the integrated stream. Here we address the issue of why now? Why the integration challenge now? There are a lot of forces coming together to explain why there has been significantly more discussion of mixing or integration in the last few years than there was before. While all these forces I've listed have played a role, I'd highlight the growing acceptance of the usefulness of qualitative research in many disciplines as a top reason. This coincides, I think, with an increase in appreciation from multiple perspectives and a decline globally in a single-minded devotion to a worldview associated with realism, positivism, and post-positivism. Let's shift now to talk about 3 strategies that promote integration during analysis. These are, first, to think about a core construct in a multidimensional way. Secondly, to use integrated case-based analysis. And third, to use joint displays or visualizations as an intermediary step in the analysis. I will talk about each one of these next. Well known in the grounded theory world, Kathy Sharma talks a lot about how research in the Western world, particularly in the US, has focused at the level of individual attitudes and beliefs. Conceptualizing a research problem in a multidimensional way facilitates what could be referred to as theoretical integration. It introduces variables or constructs at many levels. Some of these could be measured qualitatively, some quantitatively, and some might be measured with both. This type of multidimensional conceptualization facilitates integration because it helps investigators see the relationships among variables and to see behavior as embedded in a lot of social contexts. It is particularly well suited to the process of theorizing a process as it unfolds, which is associated with grounded theory and mixed methods grounded theory. In her 2018 book, another leader in the mixed methods field, but one from Australia, Pat Beasley, introduces case-based analysis and calls it the linchpin of integration. This is not the same thing as case study. Case-based analysis integrates data from multiple sources about the same unit of analysis, and then uses it to facilitate additional analysis. A case-based data can be in the form of a narrative or visualization. A case, as you see from this screen, could be an individual, a group, a classroom, community, a location, an event, and in case-based analysis, you pull together many different sources of data to create a holistic picture. This slide is illustrating how a case, in this case about a location, can include both word data, number data, as well as visual data. This is an imaginary study about collaborative spaces on a college campus. And the unit is the space, and the format of the case-based analysis, allows you to consider many factors simultaneously and to generate new hypotheses to explore. This next slide illustrates that a visual can serve a formative purpose in that it generates ideas for further analysis. This visual includes both qualitative and quantitative data. The quantitative data is a well-being score on the vertical axis, and then the horizontal axis reflects time, and a participant has annotated a timeline tracking well-being by year by describing what happened in those given years that may explain the ups and downs in the trajectory. This becomes case-based when you have many examples of the same type of timeline, and these are compared and hypotheses generated from them. We wrap up this presentation by considering some of the practical challenges of using an integrated or interactive approach to mixed methods. One of these is how to succinctly communicate the key steps in the research project used in an integrated mixed method project. These authors use a double helix to highlight the multiple ways integration occurred. They also used it to communicate that the team used a highly interactive purpose. The types of integration, when it occurred, appears in the left column, and in the right column, these authors very creatively link it to one of the classic purposes. The double helix communicates the more fluid, dynamic analysis approach to analysis that is characteristic of an integrated approach. This last slide addresses an additional challenge of the more complex interactive mixed methods designs, such as those that might be mixed method grounded theory, mixed method community participatory action research, mixed method and case study, mixed methods and intervention research. It highlights a quote from Tony Amaguzzi, a figure from MMR that you might recognize. He is widely written about mixed methods. He questions the value of identifying one research expertise and people saying that they are either qualitative or quantitative, and suggests instead that to be an effective integrative researcher requires investigators to develop expertise in both qualitative and quantitative methods.